get engaged and try to move things forward. So again, thank you all for coming. I need a motion at this point to adopt the agenda and approve the minutes.
Krista's here.
So moved by Melissa and a second.
A second.
Second by Lynn. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Jen.
Not a lot of change from last time. The biggest change was the $4,427 that we support for the lighting of the trees in Fireman's Park during the holidays. That check. Good.
Okay.
So this is our current balance. I just submitted to Elise our Q2 statement. So that puts us, once that's in, at about 20, which puts us right on track, I think, for all of the spending we'll talk about to support road construction.
Okay, wonderful. Downtown Business Alliance checking count has
Still the
zero,
same.
no activity as usually is the case there. So do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report? Moved by Lynn and a second.
I think it's you, Krista.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Krista. Thank you, Krista. And all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Yes.
Yeah, there are.
They're underneath my,
We'll send a couple this way and a couple that way.
naturally, we're not gonna have enough today because
Great
turnout.
turnout, yeah.
The triple of our turnout.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, we can share.
So let's start with the Park and Rec update. Alyssa.
Okay, I will share my screen so that
Okay.
that looks.
Yeah, so I'll just reintroduce myself. So Alyssa with Chaska Parks and Recreation. My position assists, and I should say not assist, but plans community events. So for the city and also teen programs, recreation programs. I do also run the sponsorship program, which is a way for community businesses and organizations to partner and get involved with community events that are happening. So we can go to the next one. So this is just a run through of events to give an idea of what events I supervise and coordinate. So it would be Fire and Ice Festival, which is happening July 14th through 15th at Fireman's Park this year. And we have 2 nights of bands, fireworks, food trucks, and activities as well. So and then the next one would be Bark in the Park, which is July 26th. And that one is also at Fireman's Park. So many of our big events are at Fireman's Park. And with road construction happening, we hope that they're not super impacted, but we've adjusted times and dates for some of them just to adjust with road construction. And then Bark in the Park is a pet vendor fair. We have a pet parade and music as well. Just keep kind of going through these ones. And then Touch a Truck is one of our larger ones that's at the community center. It's a vehicle fair, carnival, food trucks. And it's just, we fill up the parking lot with food and music and fun. So, and then Art in the Park is also at Fireman's Park. This one is a partnership with the Arts Consortium of Carver County. And we have art vendors, food trucks, kids art activities, music, and the singer-songwriters of Carver County perform. So it's just another one. And then all summer long, we have our concert series. So mostly at Fireman's Park, we're really excited this year to be partnered with the Southwest Chamber for their farmers market. So we'll have our summer concerts going on while the farmers market's going on. So it'll be a really fun time down there on Wednesday nights. There's select dates, so just make sure to check out the website for more information, and I can give you that in a second. And then the farmers market, I believe, has food vendors, so we cover the music and they cover the food. And then this is more of a fall one, but it's early fall, so our Latin Music and Food Fest in September. Last year we partnered with Mikasa and Latino Voices, and we had food trucks, we had inflatables, we had tons of music and dancing, a 360 photo booth. It was awesome. So what couldn't have happened without those partner organizations and a couple of businesses as well. So that brings me to our sponsorship program. So essentially we call it the sponsorship program, but really it's just a way for businesses to be involved with our events, get their name out there, help support local community events. And we have 3 different ways that we classify sponsorship. So it'd be monetary. There's different levels, and with that, the business or organization would get marketing benefits with that. So getting your logo out there, your name out there, getting a spot at the event. And then in kind would be if an event calls for raffle items or prizes or any activities, if your business or organization provides goods, provides services, maybe it's a demo of your services, something like that, if it fits with the event. And then volunteering. So if you and your staff want to donate time, then you can do that as well. And you can wear your branded gear. So we just really wanted to share this today because we know that construction might impact businesses downtown, especially around the park there. So if it's a way where we can assist in giving you a space to get your name or goods or services out there, we are happy to do that and excited to do that. And then if you wanted to volunteer just on your own time, not necessarily as your business organization, then people can volunteer ages 13 and up. If they're 13 or 18 or under, they just need 17 and under, they need a parent or guardian signature on the form. But 13 and up can volunteer. There's no time commitment needed. There's no really training. We do a little bit before events. But yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. And then my contact information will be on the next slide. And then all of our community events are now posted for summer through September, posted on our website. So chaskaparksandrec.com, and then click on the community events button. It goes right to that page. And if you have questions about sponsorship, want to talk more about it, feel free to call me or email me. And I think this summer will be fun to see who wants to get involved. And we're really excited for our events this year. We have a lot of fun bands, really well-known bands coming. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Adam Warner. He's a country star. And then at Fabulous Armadillos for Fire and Ice. And then we have just an amazing, very eclectic group for summer concerts as well. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any questions, I should say?
Melissa. I would say that, we always like events, and this year more than ever, I think we really need them to get people downtown to see that it is in fact accessible.
Yeah.
And once they figure out how to get here, hopefully they'll keep coming. So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
That's a big
Yeah.
deal for
Yeah.
this summer. So
We'll share this presentation out with the recording of everything so that we can give it out to the businesses and
Awesome. Yeah.
they've got access
Okay.
to it.
Thank you.
all right. Well, thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah.
City updates. I don't know, Elise, if you want to start, or Michaela. Or...
Let the council members start. Michaela, Mike.
Michaela, go.
Oh, let me stop sharing.
Michaela.
Okay. There we go. So sorry. Yeah, really the one big thing I wanted to share, we've had pretty light agendas for the council meetings lately. But one thing that comes to mind is just since our last meeting, we did have our council retreat. And so council department head retreat, and that's a 2-day meeting where we really put our heads to the ground and think about what Chaska looks like in the next 3, 5, so on years, and what our priorities and strategies are. So one thing we've had for a long time now is just a goal of a vibrant downtown. And it was really nice to see the council and department heads come together again and really keep a spotlight on that strategic goal of having a vibrant downtown. So I wanted to share that with all of you, that remains a priority for us, and something that we're very vested in. A lot of the conversations we had, as we're having those, we talk about, downtown, and we think about those things while we're working through even other conversations and thinking about what does staffing look like and all of that in our facility plans. And, you know, downtown remains such a large part of that conversation when we're having them. And it was just really, like I said, nice to see the council and the department heads continue to agree that a vibrant downtown is very important. So I wanted to share that with all of you, that remains a strategic goal that comes out of our annual strategy meetings. And that was really the big thing. I don't have nothing else that comes to mind. So I guess, Mike, if you have anything else, or if anyone had questions on that, I can answer that too.
No, nothing else to add. I mean, it's been not much. I mean, it's been pretty light agendas. So it's a lot of like the big talk and focus for us has probably been on what's going on downtown and all the Highway 41 projects. I don't know how many folks are aware, but there's not just this project going on, but there's like 5 projects total, right? One of them is a non-construction project, which is the study that's being done on Highway 10 and 41, which is Englewood Boulevard. And then in addition to this one, there's also, while the bridge is closed, also be reconstruction of the intersection down by where the new recycling facility will be going in, which is the exit just right before 169 to the Renaissance Fair. And then on the north side of town, then there's the Costco interchange, that roundabout there. And then there's a resurfacing project going on north. So in total, it's 5 projects, 4 of them actual construction projects going on this summer. So a lot going on, but we're trying to make sure that we kind of unify messaging and trying to make sure this gets out to the public, because, a lot of people downtown don't realize there's things going on. And, the north side of Chaska, and likewise, people on the north side of Chaska may not realize there's things going on the south side of Chaska. So trying to make sure the word gets out to everyone. Yep. Lisa, anything else you want to add?
I have a few things to add. I was just making notes. Who we gotta remind people as we talk about construction. First, something we talked about is temporary signage and sandwich boards, allowing flexibility in the city's ordinance this summer in downtown to allow sandwich boards along Pine and Walnut, which we typically don't allow. Additionally, we're making grants available from our sign program to help pay for the cost of one sandwich board per business. And so I do have applications available. I will have them available electronically as well. And if people are interested in taking advantage of getting a new sandwich board, fill that out, and there's kind of a process, but you'll work with me on it. I realize my contact information is not on there. So I will be redoing that already, but since you are all here and you know where to find me. As far as a few development updates, the building center site, which we've talked about a number of times, we're working toward closing. We are very close on closing, and I would anticipate construction on that site beginning as soon as we get that finalized there. City Square West, a few weeks ago, Council Member Taylor Hubbard testified at the Minnesota Legislature in support of the City Square West and our bonding ask to the legislature. We felt that it was very well received. We won't know anything more. It'll probably be another month at the end of session as they're, scrambling at the end, that we'll know more. And then finally, the Ernst House, Wednesday night at the Planning Commission meeting, they reviewed a preliminary plat and gave preliminary or made recommendations of preliminary approval. The city council will see that Monday night. And so that project continues to move forward, and they'd look to break ground still here this summer. So you might see movement on that site as well. So that's the updates I have.
Pause for a second for questions either here or our Zoomers. So feel free, if you are on Zoom, to unmute and ask questions. Same with the room. You don't have to unmute, but.
Hey, this is Brandy Dressen. I do have a question for Michaela. So I'd love to go back to what you said about everybody being aligned on a vibrant downtown. Can you say more about what that means, what the strategies are? How do we get more information on that?
Yeah, so I believe it will get updated as a result of our most recent strategic plan. So whenever we have these meetings, we go through and update it a little bit. But kind of some of the core values behind that are, driving community engagement downtown. So participating, making sure we have events downtown, drawing people downtown, which as with the Park and Rec demonstration or presentation we just had, that's part of that, reinvesting in core assets. So that's really the park getting redone this year, looking at our facilities downtown, things like that, make the downtown, when we paved all the roads downtown, keeping a focus on those types of things with the core assets, and then just having established plans for growth. So when we're thinking about growing the city, we consider downtown in that, things like the library, City Square West, when we're looking at the full plan, considering those items, having 41 and 61 be finished, that's part of it. Looking at even down to water and sewer and getting it out to Southwest Chaska. Southwest Chaska, when that's fully built out, is going to be a huge supporter of downtown because it's so nearby. That's a lot of homes going in that'll can come right down 61 into downtown Chaska. So thinking about the water and sewer, there's lots of little details that as we're thinking about growing and all of that we kind of come back to having a vibrant downtown. So when we think about all the things we're doing, we take kind of our strategic goals and we make sure that we are thinking of them and supporting them in all the kind of little things we do. Like I said, even how we're placing water and sewer to make sure it can go up Creek Road and, support Southwest Chaska, like I said, to have people come down. So it's when I mention those goals, they're kind of the heart of everything we do. And as we make decisions as a council, we're keeping those in mind. And as well as our department heads, as they're doing their daily work, those strategic goals are kind of like the heartbeat of what we're doing. If that makes sense.
Okay, thanks. I think what I'm feeling like is missing from that is there is no mention of what that means for businesses. And so understanding what that impact is, and this probably isn't the right time for that conversation. It's just a little bit more of a challenge back as that strategic vision is communicated. What is the impact? A big part of a vibrant downtown is thriving businesses. And I think that's why we're all here today. So really understanding what those impacts are on business, I think will be critical for us.
Yeah, Brandy, I think that's a great question and comment. And I'll kind of rephrase some of what I said. So I apologize for not making that more clear. But really, so when we think about, like I said, the homes we're building in Southwest Chaska, those are bringing people downtown. When we think about City Square West and Councilmember Hubbard going and doing what she did with the last week. Oh, I cannot think of the word. But for City Square West, to make sure that we can keep reinvesting in downtown, that's all to support the businesses, repaving the roads to make it, nicer to come downtown. That's all part of it. Certainly that does benefit the residents too, but having events downtown, a lot of having events downtown is one, it's a community gathering place, and that's very important, is to have community. Having a strong sense of community certainly makes people want to live here. That makes them want to shop, eat, live, play downtown. And then also that draws people downtown to shop the businesses. So that's a lot of the reason so many events have happened downtown, is to really keep it as a community gathering place so that it can be vibrant, so that businesses can thrive in what they do. But certainly I think we can absolutely keep in mind to really keep pushing how, when we're making decisions, what's the impact on downtown businesses, and sharing that vision because downtown businesses are absolutely important to us. The last council meeting, I think we all made that pretty clear. And it's a balance with our residents too, but the vibrant downtown businesses are, the key to that. So absolutely but I can make sure too that we keep sharing that and how it impacts the businesses when we're talking about it.
Thank you.
Krista had a good question that she dropped in the chat, and that was, will there be an economic development manager still being hired?
I can answer that. And yes, we have a job description drafted, and we anticipate that going out here shortly. And would plan to have somebody on board probably beginning of July. That's what we would like to see. And as soon as we do, we will get them out there and introduce all the businesses.
I think because there is such an interest on that topic coming out of the retreat, maybe we make that a standing item. And as you all are continuing to ideate on it and put more meat to the plan, we just talk about it each month as we meet. Does that sound fair? That way, like Brandy, if you're not able to attend a meeting, at least you know topics are going to be covered and you can pick up the Zoom and or the notes and get info. So I'll add that as a.
Great, thanks.
Okay, any other questions for council members or Elise? We have lots of other things to talk about today, so let's move on then to the chamber updates. Darren, what can you share with us?
Well, thank you for this great meeting we're having. I want to say we have a busy month here in Chaska as a chamber. Less than 2 weeks away on Wednesday, April 26th, we have our first, and it's we're really excited about this new signature event. It's called the First Responders Luncheon. If you haven't heard about it, please visit our website. We're honoring our first responders in our 4 communities, and we've got a great committee working on this. So you can still get tickets if you just want to attend and support. There's an award ceremony, luncheon, honor guard, and we're just so excited about this event. And you can still get tickets up till Monday, the 17th. By noon is our cutoff. We have to give our final numbers to the Chaska Event Center regarding that. Couple other things, I'll be brief. Brews and Bones, an annual event we do at Stram House Brewery, is coming up in April as well. And that's on the 30th. That's a Sunday, 3 to 6. Bring your furry friend, your pets to Stram House, and we'll be having some contests. We have a lot of vendors coming to that, and that's always a fun event. Just hope for not that much wind. It seems like the last couple of years it's been so windy that day, but we'll take it if it's sunny. But yeah, it'd be nice to get a reprieve from the wind. Wednesday, May 10th, the Taste of Chaska, 38th annual Taste of Chaska. Super excited about that. And as Alyssa mentioned, Fireman's Park is our venue this year for our events due to the construction. And that's 4 to 8 p.m. Wednesday, May 10th. You can still sign up if you want to participate. If you want more details about anything, visit our website as well. Our chamber, our leadership committee we've put together, and we're trying to get our members to tell us their needs on leadership. If they feel like they'd like to see programs or some type of direction or any help with leadership with their organization, we're trying to assess that information. There's a lot going on other than that. I'm super excited about this summer. I can't believe it's already April 14th, I think it is. Alyssa, super excited about partnering with you this summer with the market and the music and everything. So yeah, that's if you have any questions, let me know. I'll stick around afterwards, but you can certainly let me know and be happy to help.
Where is the market this year, the farmer's market? It's
Fireman's Park as well.
Farmer's Market.
Yeah, we
No,
no, it's obviously Seashore Park is great, but with the construction on that, yeah, just it's going to be a little bit different, certainly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
one thing I'm super glad that we're able to do is just keep things downtown, keep things somewhat normal as we can, just knowing that we're going to be flexible and just do whatever we can to really celebrate our businesses in the great city of Chaska.
Any questions for Darren? All right, thank you. Let's move on to new business. So, Jen.
I don't think we have any, but I'll open it up to the room for anything that anybody wants to throw out before we dive into road construction.
Okay, before we get into road
Yeah.
construction. Okay.
Which is the
Yeah.
bulk of the discussion.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, let's talk road construction.
Okay.
Bolton and Mink, would you all like to kick us off?
Sure. All right. So as we all know, construction has officially started with the closure of Walnut and 61. That began in late March. And to promote that closure, we have our email blast. We sent out a mailing to downtown. Greg did some walkarounds to businesses, and obviously I've been promoting through social media. So we feel like the transition was relatively smooth. I was going to ask the group here how we felt that went and if we could have maybe improved some of the channels for that closure. So I'll pause really quickly. Any feedback on how that went?
As far as communication?
Yes.
I sit here, so I'm pretty informed on that stuff, but yeah, it was good.
Just want to invite feedback on all of it. I mean, in our role, we try to reach every single person and it's never perfect. And I think we're always just kind of looking to improve.
I will, oh, I just want to give some feedback. Elise, thank you for reaching out. Greg, we had a little bit of a parking thing
Mhm.
outside the bank and everybody was just Johnny on the spot, getting to it and reaching out. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think were you gonna mention?
I appreciate Greg being out there and
Yes.
talking to people. That's been very helpful. So.
And I would say the responsiveness, we had a plowing incident. And like, it was solved and communicated effectively. And I think even if we do have hiccups, as long as we continue to see the responsiveness, I think that's really helpful. And I think that's it's a heads up for the businesses too. If something feels off or you're seeing something that doesn't seem like what was communicated or is causing an issue, please raise it. I mean, as simple as sending it to Nicole, which is probably the easiest thing, which I did not do. It was a Sunday night. But absolutely raise it so that it can be dealt with, because it has been very
We
responsive.
may know about it, we may not know about it, so it doesn't, please don't hesitate to over communicate with us. If you think it's over communicating, it's probably not.
Great, glad to-
There has been mailings going out to the businesses that,
We
Yes.
got that through the city, but we have not gotten anything else at the Chaska American Legion.
we did a mailing before the stage began, so it would have had this similar header on it. I don't know if you,
Got that.
yep, that's one that was mailed. Yep, and that was a general pre-construction newsletter just saying, hey, construction's gonna be beginning with this first closure. We are planning, and for part of the update, we do have new closures beginning on April 24th. So we're doing another mailing for that as well, which I'll get to a little bit more. But if you aren't receiving it, we can talk after and we'll make sure that you're included. But it should be the whole like downtown area that we're sending this out to.
And let's make sure I have the best email for you all too, because I take their weeklies, add our weekly stuff onto it and send it out to all the businesses. So let's make sure that I've got the best email for you all to share feedback and.
Yeah, and Greg was just putting a bug in my ear. We also have email and text message updates that we send a weekly update every Friday saying what happened this week and what's coming up the next week, or if there's new closures happening. So I would encourage just to sign up through the website with email or text, and that can be delivered right to your phone too. Great. All right, so the main event, we have some more closures coming up. I'm going to distribute this sheet here. So this week at the weekly construction meeting, the contractor made us aware of some 41 closures beginning on April 24th. Following, or I guess after that, the bridge and the Highway 4161 intersection will be closing after this closure as well. So we just wanted to bring this to your attention. Elise, Bob and I and Greg we met late yesterday and kind of put this together just yesterday because we're just kind of finding out about this, but we wanted to share. Does everyone have one of these?
I'm working on getting it up on the screen too. So for those of you that are
No, I
online.
didn't get this.
So I'll start from the top. As we all know, our staging consists of 4 key stages. The first being this Walnut closure that we're doing now. And that really is the key first step for us to get that intersection done and open, because that's a key access into downtown from the east. The next closure, which you can see on the left side of your map, is stage 2. And this includes reopening Walnut Street, so that is accessible.
Hey,
And
Nicole, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we wait until we get it on the screen? We can't follow along for those of us online.
Sure.
Thank you.
I guess in general, I can talk about it in general. In essence, we have 41 closures beginning as soon as April 24th, with the full closure beginning May 1st. So we wanted to get in front of businesses today. We haven't released this yet to the public because we just were informed of this yesterday. I believe this was fully decided. So we're trying to get this information out as soon as possible to everyone. And I'll go into it, into some more detail here once we get the map online as well.
Question for social media, which channels are you sharing it on?
So we have a Facebook page that we use, and then the city, I know I've been working with Kevin to share on, I think you have Twitter, Instagram. So he's been kind of taking those messages and then sharing it out from there. So those are two good channels to use.
And anything they share will come out on ours too. Sorry, I cut someone off.
Oh, that's okay. Can you share more about how it sounds like this was a surprise to you? This is a surprise to us. We were told nothing was starting on 41 until May. I talked to Elise literally a couple weeks ago. So how does this work? You said someone notified you and now we're all in a rush. Tell us more about what that process is. That what we can expect all summer long? Is that we're going to get a 10-day notice for changes like this?
Generally, the whole plan was kind of contingent on weather. We really didn't know how things were going to warm up this spring. If we were still in quote unquote normal 40-degree temps, I think it would have been a little bit more notice. With the general warm up, we see it as, I guess we on the construction side, strictly construction, look at it as an opportunity to kind of accelerate some of this work so we can get started earlier. Obviously acknowledging that we also need enough time to notify everybody. We've actually pumped the brakes really hard on the contractor being a little bit too ambitious. So we're pumping the brakes, kind of scaling it back a little bit first and then kind of easing into things. So it's not so much a surprise per se. We're really just trying to get out as far ahead as we possibly can on all of these things. These are big decisions, not only for construction, but it is for everyone as well. And we need to make sure that our messaging reflects our plan as accurately and as quickly as possible.
And I would just point out that the information that has been provided previously shows the stage 2 closure happening sometime in April. And this is generally what we're talking about, a stage 3 closure happening in May. And so I think, we as the city, when the contractor came to us and we've talked about it some more, felt this is in line with what we've been kind of communicating. And so we felt comfortable in saying yes, but like Bob mentioned, we did hold them off because they did want to start even faster with the full closure. And that was not the messaging we've given people. And so we wanted to be very clear that this is the messaging we've given and we want to stick to that or as closely as we can.
And then to add further onto what Elise said, providing enough time for, appropriate notice, at least as much as we possibly can. Obviously, all of the discussions that we've been having have been a really big deal. And now we're to that point where, we're more than 2 weeks out for everything that we know. We think that, we're very sure that these are hard dates. This is the best plan that we have right now. And we're really just trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Got it. Thanks. It helps to hear that it will help accelerate the final timeline.
All right, so I can talk through these stages now. If we refer to the handout, looks like Kevin got that on screen. Thank you. So I'll start with stage 2 closure, which is on the left. Beginning April 24th, as you can see, Walnut Street will reopen. So right now that's currently closed. So that will open and crews will be closing Highway 41 from just south of the 61 intersection to just north of 4th Street. So as you can see, arrows indicated on the map, there will still be that flow through downtown. 4th Street will still be open to cross east-west. 41 will be open and the 61 intersection will be open for that one turning movement. Obviously, it's still closed on 61, as you can see, to the east, but there will be that general flow for people coming to the south to use that intersection. I will say that during this closure, there will be semi-truck enforcement at the river bridge to make sure that we're not having these heavy haulers coming down 41 and using the side streets because they simply just can't handle the weight of that. So we're working closely with State Patrol and city enforcement to make sure that we have enough support posted and able to help direct people when this closure begins. And for, I don't know how long we'll be out there, but probably for a week or so, helping assist with this.
State Patrol is involved for several weeks. So obviously we're enacting our regional detour on April 24th. So then that kind of starts our enforcement of that. State Patrol's on board for either 2 weeks or a month. I don't recall. I think some of those details are being figured out. Certainly more than 2 weeks. So we have a week of just that first couple of blocks of 41, and then after that we have the full closure. So that's what we really need to elevate State Patrol's presence on all of that, enforcing that regional detour. You know, if things, you know, people aren't complying with that detour, kind of issuing those notices to those folks, so that really all we should be having in downtown is local traffic and like business deliveries and all of that. Those are the kinds of things that we should be seeing. We shouldn't be seeing through haulers, anything like that. And then one note to add, so prior to, I guess at the same time Walnut opens up north-south, we're also kind of separately from the project, but our contractor's doing it, is mill and overlay of the kind of worst sections of Pine and Walnut ahead of that. So then Pine and Walnut will be in better condition than it is now to kind of assist with all of, you know, that additional traffic that we're expecting on those. Any questions on stage 2?
Okay. So then we'll move into stage 3, which is on the right side of your map. And this is the big closure. So as you can see, beginning May 1st, this is when we anticipate the River Bridge to be closed and the 4161 intersection to be closed. And this is tentatively expected to last, 45 days, 2 months. We're tentatively, messaging 2 months.
45 days. Obviously that's pending anything that we don't know underground or things that are just happen in construction, because stuff that does happen. We've already had a few things over by Walnut that's increased the complexity down there. I don't need to bore you with any of that, but generally we're shooting for 45 days. We can plan for 2 months. We'll see how it goes.
So during this closure, people will still be able to access downtown through, once again, showing the local access routes through Walnut Court, Walnut and 61 intersection, and 4th and 2nd will be open for traffic to cross to get to other sides of downtown or access their homes or businesses. So those will be open, and Pine Street will also be accessible for those maybe coming from Carver to getting into downtown, turning in and accessing businesses or residents there. So this is really the big closure that we have coming up, and it's beginning May 1st, weather pending. And we're gonna fully begin messaging this as soon as possible. So we're working really closely with the city and the contractor right now to finalize these maps and a newsletter in general that we'll be mailing. This week's weekly update will also feature this information along with our social media, et cetera. So that will be really important. And I will note that we've been doing a lot of individual coordination with haulers and schools, the busing system, to make sure that they're also in the loop and getting that touch point as well, in case they're maybe not on the email. So we have a lot of coordinating to do, but we wanted to get this out in front of everyone here as soon as possible so that you can all begin making your plans and letting your customers know as well.
Again, we'll always invite, if you want specific plans to how to get to your business, we're happy to do that. Obviously, just contact Nicole on that. For those of you in the downtown area, you likely will have seen either Brad and or Greg to talk about temporary water and kind of all of those connections and logistics and all of that. So all of those plans are progressing very, very smoothly. Kind of any additional questions on stage 3?
Concerning that about temporary water and things like that, the management at the Chaska Legion is not there.
Okay.
So, I mean, somehow we have to be connected so that we know that, so we can inform our bartenders or our customers and whatever. So I don't know how we're gonna do that, so.
Let's talk after and let's figure out.
Pardon?
Let's talk after and figure out how to best make sure.
And then one other question. We've been hearing conflicting stories on our parking right in front of our place. We got, the mayor was saying that could be intermediate, sometimes yes, sometimes no, but what we really want to know is what's going on.
So as the no parking that is shown on here, this is how we are starting. We are starting with no parking. We are starting most conservative because we don't know what traffic will be like. We will continue to evaluate that as especially as we kind of move into several weeks into stage 3, kind of understanding. If we feel it's safe, I think the biggest thing is safety and making sure that pedestrians and cars and traffic are all safe. We'll evaluate and we'll figure out if we can lift some of those parking restrictions, but we're starting conservatively.
That's what we had talked about,
Yeah.
and that's what I thought was happening, but now I heard different things, so.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Getting the real information should really come from the project, and all of the information that's happening from the project is backed up by the city and all of that too. Not to undermine the discussions you've been having, but we have the best information.
Good.
Can we get a commitment on a date that parking will be reviewed and communicated to us what the decision is? Is that 2 weeks after the May 1st closure? Is it 4 weeks?
Just looking when our next meeting is. So it looks like our next meeting is the 12th. I think we could,
I think
before,
we
in
could-
advance of that
I think we
meeting.
could give an update at the May 12th.
Yes.
I think, sometimes it takes several weeks before we kind of see what's happening. Really kind of some consistencies happening with traffic patterns. I think we can commit to giving an update at May 12th. But I think it'll be a continuous review as we keep going, and we will let you know as soon as we can. I don't feel comfortable committing to a date, but I know that on May 12th, we can commit to giving an update as to what we are seeing.
I think also, kind of along the lines of the discussion that I've had with Krista is, if you all see certain behaviors about things that, something isn't really working how we show it's supposed to work, please let us know. There are things that we can react to. Obviously, the same reaction time that we would with anything else. We really rely on you guys to, be eyes and ears. I mean, we tend to be kind of laser focused on the project. Obviously, the traffic is a big part of it, but if it's moving, there are certain opinions that's okay. But if, like I said, if there are behaviors and certainly things like that we need to either address, or, we have other challenges with the city too, with the no parking and kind of enforcement. We're not going to be ticketing or anything. It's just kind of like a, what is the word I'm looking for? Like a honor system.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an honor system on that. Obviously the enforcement of that is more, it's a gentle enforcement. But again, if you notice things, let us know. In my experience, when we do these kinds of things, typically the first couple of days are kind of rough. They just are. And then everything kind of smooths out after that. So it's hard to, address things as quickly as we can. Sometimes we just need to kind of wait and let things kind of smooth out a little bit. Many times when we react too quickly to a traffic thing, we end up causing other issues. So it's something that we need to really take a really hard look at. Kind of throughout, and that's why it's hard to kind of commit to a date. And obviously, Brandy, I think it's super appropriate. It's not something that we're not going to be watching. It's not something that, if you guys have, again, opinions, that we need to kind of take all of those opinions in. We need to do our own review and then come up with the best, solution for, everybody really.
And I might just, and this is a gentle reminder, we at City Hall, we've talked about a lot of folks park on Fourth, a lot of employees park on Pine, a lot of folks park in the parking lot. We as, city employees have committed to parking further out in the neighborhoods and walking in. We know that creates some concern with the neighborhoods, but that leaves then those spaces open for customer parking. And I guess we would encourage businesses to look at it the same way, that employees are parking maybe out in the neighborhoods, walking. It is summer, maybe, and take advantage of that. But again, we don't control that. You can do as you wish, but we would encourage businesses to kind of take that same approach.
Public parking is public parking. Anybody can park there. But, this lot's only holds so many.
Yep.
The DMV, are they encouraged to find?
We have had separate communications with the DMV about what would be, what's kind of appropriate, where they plan to park and utilizing their entire lot, that sort of thing. So that's additional follow-up we're continuing to have with them.
Cause like, you know, the library, the city hall, history center, the Legion. There's no parking right now, so it's back there and it's gonna be first come, first serve, but city employees, you can tell them, you'll recommend, but I mean, it's still public parking. Anybody can park there.
Exactly. And that's why we're, you know, as city employees, we hope that we can model what we'd like to see other folks do.
Yeah, and you've highlighted a good point though, is so on these maps as well, we kind of show all of the locations where public parking is available and we encourage the use of that very heavily.
Is there any possibility that, like on 4th Street, the Legion, we don't open till 3, but there's still the evening, that's our crowd. I know you can't put signs up at morning and evening, you know, parking, but allow parking in the evenings
Yeah.
on
So
4th Street.
there's a lot of consideration for that, including churches. They have kind of
Yeah.
different schedules too, right? You know, having specific, you know, intervals of where things can and can't really comes down to enforcement. And if we're going to have a soft enforcement kind of generally, we don't want to be ticketing people through all of this. Like, that's not really following the intent of what we're trying to accomplish. Really what we're trying to accomplish is safety. There are legality issues with those kinds of things because it's not, you know, a specifically like, you know, legal posted thing. And I think it's difficult to kind of like make sure that everybody understands what those constraints are. Even if we have a sign that says no parking from the times of this time to that time, that still means that, you know, the public can still use those and we'd still potentially have, you know, a little bit of congestion on 4th when we still have regional traffic who may not know kind of the routes. And if it's, you know, I'm struggling putting my thoughts together. I'm just getting over COVID a couple of weeks ago. I have a little bit of brain fog, so I apologize. But like if you're a regional traveler and you don't really know and you're just kind of following signs, like that would be a little bit more conceptually unsafe than somebody just going to the Legion, right? I'm not saying no and I'm not saying yes. I'm just saying that these are the kinds of things that we need to think about when we make a decision. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's where we rely on you all to say, this is what we're seeing. And continue to, you know, especially in the evening, after we are theoretically have gone home potentially. And so just be in communication, let us know what you're seeing.
And for everyone else in the room too, like this isn't the only, you know, audience that we're talking to. We're talking to everybody. We're taking in your feedback. We're taking in everybody else's feedback. We do have Greg going around and talking to not only you folks, but everyone else that isn't in here. So we're trying to like just kind of bring it all in, kind of summarize it, what we're finding with the city, and then kind of providing a recommendation and then kind of making a decision from there. That's kind of how that process works for us.
Jody mentioned that she's encouraging the library staff to also park further away so that we continue to free up stuff here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
One of the things we discussed, I think it was in the February call, was the potential for in the public parking lots, knowing that those are being heavily used by residents, at least some of them, putting up some signage for local business parking only during specific hours. Has that gone anywhere?
We have sent, if you received about a month ago, there was a newsletter sent around talking about that beginning May 1, we would start really enforcing what the city code has to say about those public parking lots. And so we have been in communication with our police department and I know they've actually started maybe a little sooner, some of that more active enforcement about no more than 24 hours in a spot. And then you need to move, as well as some of those other kind of no parking. I know I've received feedback from some of the residents, particularly in that lot near your business, Brandy, about, you know, acknowledging that and understanding that they need to move. So we continue to work on you know, especially the residents, but they are allowed to park there too. But it's really that enforcement at 24 hours. And I think there's things like boats that are sitting there and commercial vehicles that are sitting there and how do we help free up those spaces for visitors?
And
Yeah, so not quite what I asked though. There was a really great response in the room when we were there in February from both the businesses and the city. And Lisa, I think you were even one that said that's a great idea. We can look into it. It was specifically around signage, potentially, understanding there's no promise, but looking into whether we could do signage during certain hours for business parking only, not for the whole lot, but maybe a couple of spots, to help, make up for what we're losing on 41. And so you're saying there's been no follow-up on that?
No, I'll answer that directly. So you're not the only one who's asked for that, and we don't want to do like piecemeal. We kind of want to do it all at once. And that timing kind of revolves around that May 1st date when those parking restrictions, especially down by you, are kind of enforced. So I think, yes, we need a little bit more information so we do it consistently for everyone, and we don't kind of show a perception of, either initial favoritism or whatever you want to call it, right? We just want a level of consistency. So we're still kind of gathering data on that. I think we're still totally open-minded to doing that. Obviously, once we have the information gathering and we come up with a plan, and then again, the city will make a decision based on that. So it's not a no, I think it's a probable, if that makes sense.
Okay, that is helpful. That's what I was hoping to hear. And to be clear, we're not asking for branded signage for our business. It's for all of the businesses in the area.
Yep, agreed.
Okay.
One other question, we have 5 apartments above the American Legion. This says no 24-hour parking over here.
Let me check on that.
Would you?
Yep.
Thank you.
I have a question actually about phase 4. In phase 4, does the bridge reopen? Okay, that then will have traffic flow implications as well. So the flow will be different starting phase 4.
Yeah, so then the monthly meetings here are going to be really impactful, not just now initially, excuse me, for this kind of first couple of closures, but even that follow-up one. Now it's going to be like, okay, so we saw behavior in stage 2 and stage 3. So now, how does that change our, outlook on the next stage? And that we need the feedback there too, very much.
Is there a map for stage 4 the group has that you can share on screen?
We do have that on the website, and we can share that link in the follow-up for this as well.
And is that something you'd be able to pull up quickly?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Kevin's pulling it up. And then
Awesome.
we'll talk a little bit about more detail on that.
Well, that's getting pulled up. I do have a question about the alley work behind the businesses on 41 and where that's at from a planning standpoint. It's not in any of this.
Do you mean the alley between your building and 210 or the alley between 2nd and 3rd?
The alley between 2nd and 3rd behind my building.
Our design is very, very close, incorporating the cultural resource kind of constraints. We redesigned, a good amount of that. It won't look any different. The stuff underground will be different. The other piece of that is that lot that's next to like that city lot off of Walnut. That's the lot that's still kind of like in a little bit of limbo with the developer. They need to make sure that their drainage works with our drainage. And we're kind of waiting on them to react. We have time to do that. If it's, again, this is the same message we had before, is if it's possible to do in 2023 after 41 is complete, then we might do that. There's a lot of work to do in there. So it's possible, I think more likely in my opinion, that it's 2024, but I think the design is very close.
Okay, so should we expect that there's that L-shaped alley right behind our building?
Yep.
That got torn up when the utilities came in? Should we, I hope that we should expect that to be fixed very soon.
I think that lot, we're probably going to end up striping it just to make it a little bit more like.
Not the lot, there's like a little alley where the utilities went in because they had to redo something back there for this project.
Okay.
It goes right up to the back of our building. There's like an L shape that comes out, goes behind the vet. And that all of the paving got torn up back there by the utilities.
Can I give you a call to kind of talk about that a little bit further?
Yeah, totally take that offline. Thank you.
Okay. Like Jen's got that up. Kevin.
Nope, Kevin's way better.
This is what we're showing for stage 4. This is that after the 4161 intersection are completed and the river bridge is completed. This is the stage that we anticipate being in more long-term. This is expected roughly June, July through the end of the year.
As you can see, 61's open, the bridge is open, and then we'll continue to have those key local crossings at 61, 4th and 2nd, and we'll be communicating that so that people know they can still get to downtown, can still cross, can still access businesses. Any questions on this stage in general?
Do you have more copies of that? Handy?
That's on the website.
Website?
Yep.
I might have some copies too that I can get you when we're done.
All right. Any other questions? Any other updates on your end? Elise, anything from your perspective we haven't covered? All right, well then let's talk about things we're doing. The communications perspective, you heard a little bit about what Bolton and Mink puts out. Obviously, the website is a main resource. You can sign up for email or text updates. They also do a weekly email on Fridays, which then we turn around and send out to businesses. So you and I sync up in case you've collected any business emails that are updated that I don't have. That way we're over communicating. I think that would be good. I'll pass around because I only have one copy, because I only get one copy of the Herald. But we talked last time that we'll do a monthly mailer in the Herald, targeted obviously for people who aren't engaged with social media or getting the emails, just another vehicle to get information out there. Because obviously it's paper, we finalize it on the 1st and then it's going to be in the second Thursday Herald. So that's our flow from April through November. And we typically do a November one. You all know that's the hometown holiday one. We went with the same format. So there will be coloring on the back for the kids. So every month we'll draw some winners, give them gift cards to downtown businesses. So they come down here, they go there to pick them up, then they can shop down here. So we'll keep that cadence up. But because there is obviously printing timelines, we're sensitive about what information is on here. So based on what we talked about today, I think we replace, right now, it's the how to get around. So it shows you parking and kind of the flow of things. I think next month it makes sense to target parking, knowing that that is probably the biggest opportunity as things start to close. So that one will hit like May 15th. So helping people understand, A, things are open, B, how to get down here and where to park to get where they want. Part of this is open for businesses to share anything they want. So for instance, Shop 501 just simply shared their hours and their website. So you all are welcome to add anything here. It can be as specific as drink specials or food specials or events that are happening, and it can be as non-specific as your hours. It's just a way for the businesses to freely get out content. So we only had 3 this time. The last time I checked, it had doubled for this next mailer. So we're getting a little bit more engagement on that piece. The other thing that will be in the next one is the events. So all of the things that are happening down here, again, so that we can communicate to people, it's open, there's stuff happening, here's how you get down and get around. The bottom of it is the resources like we talked last time. And like Mike mentioned, there is more than just downtown construction. So all of the resources for all of the construction projects are down at the bottom so that people can easily get to those and hopefully get questions answered if they have them. So that is one piece. Elise mentioned the signs, the sandwich board signs. We collected a bunch of businesses who have an interest in them. So I'll work with you and we can get those for them. And that information is still out there. I'm using the same survey for the entire period. That way it's the same link. People can go in and drop anything new or updated in it. That's where they'll share this information. I was collecting sandwich board information in there too. And then the last thing, my notes, is the farmer's market. So Elise and Katie had a really great idea about us having a standing booth at the farmer's market that businesses, so we would support it. Businesses could sign up for free to take a booth for that week. So we're going to move forward with that right now based on interest. I think just one booth. I don't know how flexible you all are. Like if it blows up, we can, okay. So I'll get with Autumn and get that set up. And then today's update will go out with the dates to sign up. So you can pick a date from June 21st to September. And is there no market the week of the 4th? Or did you guys change? Usually there hasn't been.
We don't have a concert, so I don't think there was.
I'll have to double check.
Okay, that's fine. Not a big piece, but we'll move forward with that. So anyone you can come and sell stuff. You can just be there. You can hand out things. If you need support, you want to be at the booth and you need support, we can provide. We've got a bunch of, in fact, I need to get those over to you. We've got some beer koozies. We've got some cups. We've got all kinds of fun stuff that are branded with all of the road construction information. So if you want that for a booth, we can support you with that to give it away. And if you have ideas, we can also support that aspect.
We don't have the market.
Okay, I didn't think so, but I wanted to make sure. So in addition to all of the weekly updates, we have one going via email, and then we have a weekly social update too. And then like we talked about, anything else that anyone else is sharing, we will also repurpose and push it out there. So one of the things that I'm going to also add to this monthly mailer is, if you'd like, you'll remember 2 years ago, we did some stickers that had like love Chaska, shop Chaska, eat Chaska, all of those. We're going to reprint those. So if you'd like those for your businesses, we're going to add the QR code for the road construction. I'm going to mute Krista. Oh no, she's sorry. No, that's okay. I'm going to add the QR code to those so that, again, if there are things that you're handing out, it's fun, engaging, and a reminder to shop downtown, but it also has the information on it. So now I'll stop. That's everything we have planned. I think in partnership with Alyssa, we'll find ways that we can support the businesses. She mentioned a couple ways that you can be there and be present at some of the events. If you need assistance with that, of course, we'll help support that. Any way that we can get the businesses out in front of people as people come down here, that's what we're really focused on. We as a Downtown Business Alliance do not have any events planned for the summer. We haven't typically done any summer events. We've just supported the events that are happening. And we'll definitely keep doing that. But I think we had talked a little bit about maybe a fall event, which we've done before in companionship. That's the weirdest word I've ever used. That's better. With Parks and Rec. And I think we can probably tie it into something much bigger. So businesses keep that in mind. It would be kind of a close of construction thing. So we're not putting a date to anything at this point, but we do think construction will close this year.
Yeah, it has to.
So I'll pause now. I've always said I'm not an ideator, I'm more of an operator. So I'm open to ideas. If there's things that you all in your businesses know that you could use support with, or that you'd like to see us do to help support this process, I'm open with a brainstorm. And as you're brainstorming, Jody had a question. What date will the no parking start up on 4th Street?
April 24th.
April 24th. I'll make a note of that. And that's all of the red dotted no parking, April 24th.
Email me this, I'll put it in our newsletters.
Yes,
Yeah.
so to Darren's point, all of the materials that you're seeing today, I'm going to send out in PDF version on our weekly update, and it's always on their website too. So there's a lot of different ways that we're going to get you stuff.
The sheet you did, yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm also going to send, yes, I'm going to send this out.
I saw the paper yesterday, but yeah, I'll put it on the newsletter.
As a PDF, that way people have it. And then I thought this was Awesome. This was McDonald's all on their own. So they're obviously not part of the SSD, but they are thinking along the same way. So it's an entire summer celebration. Can we seal that? Because that's kind of, they have a whole marketing team, don't they? But I'll send this as a PDF to businesses if you want some ideas on things that you can do. Wagner is incredibly cooperative and price conscious when it comes to printing. So if that's an option, and if you want to stuff in the Herald, that is also to give you an idea of what it costs for us to do these monthly mailers. It's like $250 for it to be stuffed in the Herald, and it's like $600, I think, to print the 6,000 copies. I mean, it's a really, in my mind, effective way to get communication out. Now, again, not everybody has the Herald. It goes to 6,000 residents here, and how many people live here? 30-ish, 27. So we're only hitting a fourth, but you can then turn around and use this on social too. So it does have kind of a variety of ways to get out there. It's way more effective than when we've done the actual mailers. When we used to do the postcard mailers, it was about 20 grand to blanket Chaska with a postcard mailer, and that's a lot of money. So this is much more feasible on a monthly basis. All right, Krista has to leave, so we'll see her next month. But any other thoughts around things that would help support you all as we get started in this?
Is just a question, is there, well, you've got your navigational signage around just how to get here and there. Is any of that business specific that you've?
Have business access signs on the edges.
Yeah.
We're gonna invite people saying like, I forget what our plan shows us. So there's like west side businesses, since you can only cross at certain spots. We'll have, either west side businesses but yes, that's all included.
I know, like going north on Walnut today, it looks like, no, it's just all shut down. You can't go there. So there needs to be kind of some kind of sign saying access to business this way. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, we haven't wrapped a meeting early ever.
Yes.
Not since we've been talking about road construction. Well, so I'm not a weather person by any means, but there is a lot of water out there. If we would deal with an early closure, are you all going to react to that?
Regarding the river.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty set on May 1st. Our contractors know a bunch of people up and down the river, kind of getting reports from them, like really local reports. They're talking with meteorologists. They have their own folks for that. So they're not currently anticipating like a full flood. I mean, and obviously I take it with a grain of salt. Like, I don't know.
I don't either.
Who knows? But yeah, I mean, we're certainly watching it. That's a big deal for them. They want to haul everything down. So if that shuts down, then their whole operation totally changes.
Yeah.
All right. So next meeting is the 12th of May. Like Darren said, I can't believe we're halfway through April. We'll plan on revisiting the parking discussion. I'll add that as a dot point. I'll also add, I just called it Vibrant Downtown. We might want to change what I called it, but we'll add that for any updates and maybe diving in a little bit more to help the businesses understand what that means. Any other agenda items for next month? Other than road construction?
Yeah, we'll have lots to talk about there, I'm
Yes.
sure.
All right. Well, then we can close it out at 8:41.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. And again, if there's an interest in getting involved with the board, see Jen or myself. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. 30 minutes off.
Sure.
Oh.